Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Here are the key headlines we are tracking this evening. No major decisions at the GST Council meeting. A group of ministers will look at 18% tax on insurance premiums and a decision is likely by November. Another ministers panel will discuss compensation cess. No decision yet on hiking taxes on payment aggregators for low-value card transactions. Sensex gains over 350 points. Nifty gets back above 24,900 as positive global cues lift the Lal Street. Crude oil prices attempt to rebound after losing 8% last week. Brent crude remains around $71 a barrel. Bajaj Housing Finance IPO gets fully subscribed in just 4 hours thanks to strong demand from institutional and retail investors. Electric two-wheeler maker Ather Energy files for a 3,100 crore rupee IPO, seeking a valuation of nearly $550 million. 1 year after competition amendment law came into effect, government notifies deal value threshold for scrutinizing mergers and acquisitions. Competition regulators' approval will now be mandatory for all M&As of and above 2,000 crore rupees. Enforcement Directorate files a case against Religare's Rashmi Saluja and other top officials, accuses them of cheating and criminal conspiracy to block Burman Brothers from assuming ownership of Religare. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy says the electric mobility promotion scheme will be extended until the third phase of the FAME scheme is rolled out. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari says he's not opposed to subsidizing electric vehicles and expects EVs to cost the same as petrol and diesel vehicles in 2 years. Supreme Court directs CBI to file a fresh status report on the alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor in Kolkata, directs protesting doctors to resume work by 5 p.m. tomorrow. This after West Bengal government claims 23 people died due to doctors abstaining from work. The Aam Aadmi Party releases its list of 20 candidates for the Haryana elections. No breakthrough in talks with the Congress party to form an alliance yet. Apple is all set to launch the iPhone 16 with faster processing chips and improved cameras, likely to lean on artificial intelligence to spur sales. Also on the show, the average compensation for CEOs of Nifty 50 companies rises to 27 crore rupees in FY24. Rajiv Jain of Bajaj Finance is India's highest paid professional CEO. Let's start with the market action. Positive global cues lifted the mood on the Lal Street after the sell-off on Friday. Sensex gained over 370 points. Nifty gained over 80 points to reclaim the 24,900 mark. Mid-caps came under pressure today with the index ending in the red. On the other hand, bank stocks outperformed with the Nifty Bank Index gaining over 1%. The first meeting of the GST Council after the new NDA government took charge was held in the capital today. There was no major decision taken and a slew of issues have been referred to ministerial panels. The Council has decided to defer decisions on reducing GST on life and health insurance premium. A new group of ministers will discuss the matter and submit a report by October. The next Council meeting on November could take a decision on the issue. The Council has also deferred the decisions on the proposal to impose 18% GST on gateway fees charged by payment aggregators on debit and credit card transactions below 2,000 rupees. And finally, on the issue of compensation cess, the Council has formed another group of ministers to address the issue. Here is Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman on the key decisions taken by the Council.
The rate rationalization GOM under the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar will be doing its job. But under his leadership, with newer members who have volunteered for the limited purpose of medical health insurance related GST, we have told them that they will look into this matter and come with a report by end of October, just 1.5 months' time. And the GST Council, which will meet in November, will finalize based on this report, which will come from the GOM. We have agreed to form a GOM which will now take it up to study every state and their discussion, because Karnataka minister came up with figures which are applicable to his state. So we've said all other states which want to give theirs, we're not compelling anybody, but whoever wants to give can give. They will be, again, a group of ministers who will decide how to go forward in the name of compensation cess. It shall no longer be compensation post March 2026, but that cess, how to go about it, what to do with it, and so on, will be discussed by the group of ministers.
All right, Timsi Jaipuria is now joining us with more on the decisions taken by the GST Council. Timsi, you had really broken several of the key decisions taken by the GST Council well in advance. Give us a sense of how different state governments, state ministers react to the meeting and some of the key takeaways which we will see developing over the next few months.
Well, when it comes to what will be developing over the next few months, we'll have to see, as we heard Union Finance Minister saying that a new GOM has been formed on the compensation cess. We know that the compensation cess has to end because the cess was initially only for 5 years to recoup the losses that the states would have incurred in terms of revenue for getting the new system of GST, replacing the old octroi, VAT, etc. Now the compensation cess window was extended because in COVID years, the collections were below 14% guarantee that was given to the states for 5 years, and thus back-to-back loans were taken, because of which this cess has continued. So this GOM is definitely something that we'll have to wait and watch for, because there are a lot of items on which currently cess is levied, such as cars, on tobacco products such as cigarettes, pan masala, etc. Then we have aerated beverages. So there are a lot of sin goods per se on which this cess is levied, and those are key areas where consumers like you and me get impacted with that cess. Also, some of the key interesting decisions, there's a decision on data hosting services. A lot of clarification that over there coming in, which is likely to give relief to companies such as Google, Meta, Facebook, etc. And they are going to get a relief on that side. When it comes to the decisions that have been deferred and soon we will see the next council meeting actually picking them up, is something on health insurance and life insurance. There is no new GOM as clarified by Finance Minister. The existing group of ministers on rate rationalization has seen that there were more participants who wanted to get added only for the particular decision or the discussions at the level of group of ministers on whether what should be the exemption rate, etc. Those new ministers will get added on this panel only for this purpose, and they've been given a short period of 1 month to come back to the council, so that next meeting, which is likely to be scheduled in November, that can be taken up. Also on the agenda was a key decision on oil and gas exploration contracts, on farm and farm out contracts. Over there, we learned from state finance ministers who moved out that this decision too has been deferred. More study needs to be there by the fitment committee. Again, on transactions below 2,000 rupees, the digital transactions that we undertake through payment aggregators, over there an 18% GST was to be levied on payment aggregators. This is not a new levy. There was a clarification that was being sought by the industry. And this proposal has been referred again back to the fitment committee for further detailed examination. And many other proposals. There's a decision now to bring parity on the car seats and two-wheeler seats. Car seats were charged at 18% GST and two-wheelers were paying 28% GST on the seats. Now, prospectively, there will be a clarity, there will be a parity of 28%. Then FMCG sector was seeking a relief on namkeens, and the namkeens which are prepared out of extrusion. Earlier, pre-GST, they were paying 12% GST. But after GST came in, extruded namkeens were charged at 18% and other namkeens were at 12%. Over here, FMCG companies were issued a lot of notices by DGJ, and they are now likely to get a prospective parity of 12%. However, in the past, they will have to pay 18% and a lot more.
All right, Timsi, thank you very much for summing the entire day-long GST meeting for us. So a lot of decisions deferred, so there will be some action to follow up in the days to come. Moving on and focusing on the ramifications of the Hindenburg investigation reports. Two Mauritius-based foreign portfolio investors named in the report on Adani Group by Hindenburg have moved the Securities Appellate Tribunal. The FPIs are opposing the new SEBI rules on disclosure of beneficial ownership, which takes effect today. According to court filings accessed by Money Control, both the Mauritius-based entities have filed a case on the 19th of August and is likely to be heard this week. The new rules mandate disclosure of beneficial ownership if the equity is under management is more than 50% in a single corporate group, or if it amounts to 25,000 crore rupees in value. FPIs must disclose ownership and economic interest. The circular was first issued in August last year, and it takes effect today after multiple extensions to the deadline. In IPO corner now, Bajaj Housing Finance's 6,500 crore rupee offer got fully subscribed within 4 hours of opening. At the end of day one, its total subscription stood at over 2 times. The demand was led by the non-institutional investors, whose portion saw a subscription of over 4 times. The retail portion was also fully subscribed. Launched within a price band of 66 to 70 rupees a share, the offer will close the subscription on September 11th. Electric two-wheeler maker Ather Energy has filed for a 3,100 crore rupee IPO, seeking a valuation of nearly $550 million. The IPO includes an offer for sale of up to 22 million shares by investors and promoters. Under the OFS, founders Tarun Mehta and Swapnil Jain will offload 1 million equity shares. The company intends to use 930 crore rupees of the proceeds to set up a new EV plant in Maharashtra. Shares of Ola Electric Mobility saw a volatile day as the EV player's 1-month lock-in period for shareholders ended today. Following the expiration, around 18 crore shares, or 4% of the company's equity, has become eligible for trading. After a rally in the last hour, Ola Electric shares ended higher by over 4%. Union Minister H.D. Kumaraswamy has said that the electric mobility promotion scheme will be extended beyond September 30th. This will be the second extension for the scheme, which was launched in March this year after the expiry of FAME 2 subsidy. Speaking on the sidelines of the Automotive Component Manufacturers Association's annual session, the Heavy Industries Minister also said that FAME 3 scheme will be introduced soon, with ongoing discussions on all the concerns flagged in the FAME 2 scheme.
What are all the FAME 2 issues that they wanted to upgrade it? For that they are working.
So EMPS was expiring by September. The gap between EMPS and FAME 3...
It will go into extra.
All right, sticking with the electric vehicles vertical, Road Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari has said that he's not against any additional subsidies for electric vehicles. He said that he expects EVs to cost the same as petrol and diesel in 2 years. This comes after the minister said last week that EV makers no longer need subsidies.
I am not against any incentives. Actually, the heavy industries minister is responsible. If you want to give more incentives on e-vehicle, I don't have any problem. What I was given my argument from my side, that when the e-vehicle starts, the cost of the vehicle, suppose, is X. But now, at that time, the price of the lithium-ion battery was $150 per kilowatt per hour. Now it is something 108 to 110 kilowatt per hour. I am confident it will come $100. So, actually, my feeling was, because the number of manufacturing number is also increased. So on the basis of that, my assessment was that without subsidy, you can maintain that cost because the cost of production is less.
A major development has taken place, which is going to impact the merger and acquisition landscape in the country in a big way. 1 year after Competition Amendment Law came into effect, the government has notified the deal value threshold to scrutinize mergers and acquisitions in the country. The competition regulator's approval is now mandatory for all M&As above 2,000 crore rupees. Now, earlier, under the competition law, mergers and acquisitions where the value of the targeted asset was less than 450 crores or where the turnover of the targeted asset was less than 1,250 crores, there a CCI approval was not needed. Now there is no exemption and all deals above 2,000 crores will have to go to the CCI for approval. The new rules will be applicable to both physical and digital markets. This comes into effect from the 10th of September, that is tomorrow, and it is being done to prevent creeping acquisitions or killer acquisitions in the digital marketplace. So let's see how the business landscape in the country responds to these new rules that have been notified today. Moving on to the aviation industry. Shares of SpiceJet surged more than 4% today. This after the airline revealed plans to issue shares to Carlyle Aviation as part of a restructuring deal to convert a portion of its dues into equity. Speaking of SpiceJet, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu said that the ministry is monitoring the airline situation closely. Naidu also said that the Aviation Ministry is keeping an eye on air ticket fares on all routes during the festive season. He added that with rising demand, airlines need to work in balance.
SpiceJet को हम देख रहे हैं अपनी तरफ से भी जो भी ये छोटे-छोटे इश्यूज हो रहे हैं उनको भी हम सर्कुलर दे रहे हैं कि उसको ठीक करना चाहिए जल्दी से जल्दी जितना हो सके तो हम भी कोऑपरेट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें भी ये जिस तरह से डिमांड है अपने देश में हमें भी ज़्यादा एयरलाइंस को काम करने की ज़रूरत है तो उस हिसाब से हम बैलेंस करते हुए चल रहे हैं कि जो समस्याएं हैं उनको भी ठीक करें और जो एयरलाइंस है वो भी ठीक तरह चले.
And coming up on India Business Hour, the average compensation for CEOs of Nifty 50 companies rises to 27 crore rupees in FY24. Rajiv Jain of Bajaj Finance is India's highest paid professional CEO. Details in just a bit. And you can also catch all CNBC TV18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. Quick look at global headlines now. At least 14 people have been killed in Syria's central Hama province after a series of airstrikes by Israel. Following these, Iran accused Israel of a criminal attack in Syria. Meanwhile, at least 6 Palestinians died in Gaza enclave as Israel continued its strikes in the war-torn region. It has been 11 months since the war broke out between Hamas and Israel since October last year. Schools in Gaza have transformed into homes for displaced Palestinians, resulting in over 6 lakh students losing access to education. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is likely to visit Moscow this week. Reports say that Doval will meet Russian President Putin and discuss peace efforts to resolve the conflict with Ukraine. He's also likely to attend the BRICS NSA meeting. Doval's visit comes after Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and held a telephonic conversation with Putin. Yesterday, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni met Zelensky and suggested that India and China must play a role in resolving the conflict. Boeing has reached a preliminary deal with the workers' union that could avert a major strike this week in the US. The proposed 4-year contract includes a 25% hike in general wages and a commitment to build the next commercial plane in the Seattle area. It also includes 12 weeks of paid parental leave, improved job security, and enhanced retirement benefits. Among others, Boeing factory workers need to approve the deal by Thursday. The Enforcement Directorate has filed a case against Religair's Rashmi Saluja and other top officials. The officials have been accused of cheating and criminal conspiracy to block Burman Brothers from assuming ownership of Religair. Santya Goria is standing by with all the details. Santya, give us a sense on what the Enforcement Directorate is alleging.
This particular complaint, this particular FIR by ED has made this case even more murkier, even more twisted. So it was on 6th of September that ED filed an FIR for cheating and criminal conspiracy against Rashmi Saluja, Nitin Agarwal and Nishant Singhal. This FIR has been filed by ED with the Mumbai police. Now this is what the FIR says. According to ED's FIR, complainant Vaibhav Gavli, who claimed to be a Religair shareholder, filed an FIR with Mumbai police, and his FIR was against the Burman brothers, where he accused them of conniving with the Singh brothers to cause financial irregularities in the firm, which led to huge financial losses for the shareholders. Now, ED in its complaint says that during its investigation, they found out that the complainant was not genuine. This is what the ED FIR says, that when questioned about the documents documents or any evidence. Vaibhav Gavli told ED that he does not have even a single document or evidence to prove his allegations against the Berman brothers. He said that his FIR was based on the material provided by these three accused, that is Saloja, Singhal and Agarwal. He said that he was instructed by these three accused to file this FIR 10-15 days before buying the Religare shares. He was introduced to these three people and they gave him 2 lakh rupees, 1,20,000 to buy Religare shares and 80,000 to file this FIR against the Berman brothers. Now, according to ED's FIR, Vaibhav Gavli has said that this was done by Saloja and others in order to block the acquisition, block the takeover of Religare by the Berman brothers. Once again, ED in its FIR has mentioned that Vaibhav Gavli in a statement said that Rashmi Saloja and others were diverting funds from Religare and its subsidiaries in the form of ESOPs, and they wanted to continue enjoying these benefits, which they were afraid won't be possible after the takeover. Hence, this effort by these accused to block the takeover. Now, ED has filed this FIR. On the other hand, Shirin, ED is also investigating a PMLA case, but in that case, interestingly, the Singh brothers are accused. So what turn this investigation is going to take, that remains to be seen, but it's certainly more twisted now.
On to the latest in the Axis Mutual Fund front-running case. The Enforcement Directorate has registered a case under the Foreign Exchange Management Act against former fund manager Viresh Joshi. The agency is also conducting searches on premises linked to Joshi and several other brokers. The average compensation for CEOs of Nifty 50 companies has risen to 27 crore rupees in FY24. This is just below the record compensation of 28 crore rupees we saw in FY22. Who tops the list? Yusuf is here with this special report.
The average remuneration of top executives at Nifty 50 companies surged to 27 crore rupees in FY24, which is an increase of 26% from FY23. During the year, top executives of Nifty 50 companies drew a combined compensation of 1,347 crore rupees, showed data compiled from their annual reports. So who tops the list? Wipro's former CEO Thierry Delaporte is on top with an annual compensation of 168 crore rupees, which also includes severance-related costs. Two more CEOs were part of 100 crore club in FY24. Pawan Munjal of Hero MotoCorp earned over 109 crore rupees, and Rajiv Jain of Bajaj Finance earned more than 101 crore rupees. Just below the 100 crore club, CP Gurinani of Tech Mahindra, the promoters of Divi's Lab, and Chief Vijay Kumar of HC Tech. So the top 6 companies put together, they earned 641 crore rupees, which is almost 48% of the total remuneration put together. 3 more executives earned more than 50 crore rupees in FY24. Infosys CEO Salil Parekh got a remuneration of over 66 crore rupees. Rajiv Bajaj of Bajaj Auto saw his pay increase by 13% to nearly 54 crore rupees. SN Subramanian of L&T earned over 51 crore rupees. Among state-owned companies, only 2 executives received compensation more than 1 crore rupees. Gurdeep Singh of NTPC and Arun Singh of ONGC. The lowest remuneration among the PSUs was the chairman of India's largest bank, SBI. Dinesh Khara, who has now retired, received a compensation of 39 lakhs rupees in FY24. All in all, the average compensation of 27 crore rupees for Nifty 50 executives is higher than 21 crore rupees we saw in FY23. But it is below the FY22 average of 28 crore rupees, which remains the highest on record.
Big national story now. The Supreme Court has directed the Central Bureau of Investigation to file a fresh status report on the alleged rape and murder case in Kolkata's RG Kar Hospital. The Apex Court has also directed protesting doctors to resume work by tomorrow. However, it cautioned that failure to resume work could lead to disciplinary action by the state government, after which the court would not be able to intervene. The directive came after the West Bengal government claimed 23 died due to doctors abstaining from work. Government doctors in Punjab have suspended outpatient department services across the state for 3 days. This was the first phase of a planned protest in support of implementation of assured career progression and adequate security measures. The doctors intend to continue the 3-hour protest for the next 2 days. They have also warned the government that they would be forced to indefinitely suspend OPD services from the 12th of September if the demands were not met. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed Abu Dhabi Prince Crown Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan at the Hyderabad House in New Delhi. This is his first official visit to India, and he was accorded a ceremonial welcome when he landed in Delhi. The bilateral talks between Prime Minister Modi and the Crown Prince were centered around strengthening the strategic partnership between the two nations. The Aam Aadmi Party has released the first list of 20 candidates for the upcoming Haryana Assembly election. No alliances with Congress feature on the list and stalled talks. The party has fielded Haryana Unit Vice President Anurag Dhanda from Kalayat and Indu Sharma from Bhiwani, while Vikas Nehra will fight from Meham and Vijender Huda from Rohtak. Moving on to the tech industry, Apple is set to launch its iPhone 16 series with faster processing chips and improved cameras. The tech giant is breaking away from its tradition of Friday releases by unveiling its latest offering on a Monday. CNBC-TV18's Shivani Kharat is here with more. Shivani, what can we really look forward to?
Apple will be hosting its iPhone launch event today titled its Glow Time. The event will see unveiling of the iPhone 16 series along with other devices such as the Apple Watch Series 10, Watch Ultra 3, AirPods and AirPod Max with USB-C. The inclusion of Apple Intelligence, by the way, is likely being the biggest selling point of the new iPhone 16 series, with the devices which will compete with other AI smartphones like Google and Samsung. The entire iPhone 16 series is anticipated to be powered by the new A18 chip, with different configurations, of course, for the Pro and the base models. Now, when it comes to design, design changes for the iPhone 16 Pro line are expected to be minimal, but there are a few. For example, the iPhone 16 Pro models are rumored to have larger screens, a 6.3-inch for a Pro and 6.9-inch for the Pro Max. It could retain the same titanium body that we saw last year with the new pink and brown color options. Apple is also likely to replace the mute switch on the standard and the Plus models with a captive action button. Additionally, a new dedicated camera button, likely called the capture button, will be introduced across all models.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. The news continues here on CNBC TV 18.